English 121, Analyzing and Synthesizing Ideas, from the Allen and Bacon Guide, pages 301 to 322. This section in your book discusses analysis, which is the process of breaking down a text into its parts to see the relationships between them. The book contrasts this concept of analysis with synthesis, which is the process of putting together constituent elements or parts to form a whole, requiring original, creative thinking. You're going to be putting the parts of the text back together in some new fashion, wrestling with ideas from different texts or sources, trying to forge a new whole. Your book refers to the process of what's called dialectic thinking. This was developed by the German philosopher Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, who argued that when a thesis clashes against an antithesis, this leads the thinker to formulate a synthesis encompassing dimensions of both the original thesis and the antithesis. In a synthesis essay, you're going to be moving beyond mere analysis to show how a writer interacts with a group of texts, explores the alternative perspectives on an issue, and presents a new, enlarged position of the writer's own. The first step in writing a synthesis essay is to pose a synthesis question. Most academic and professional writing begins with the posing of a problematic question that sends the writer off on an intellectual journey through a group of texts. The synthesis question will direct you to look for ways that a group of texts are connected and ways that they differ in their approaches to a particular issue. The synthesis question will also help you zero in on a problem that several texts address or that you are trying to resolve through your research. Your goal is to achieve your own informed answer to the synthesis question, a view that is based on ideas from multiple sources, but that reflects your own intellectual process of discovery and independent thinking. Synthesis writing is also connected to summary and response writing, like what we have been doing so far in this class. In synthesis writing, you start by listening carefully to texts as you summarize them to determine their main points, and then you move on to critique both the rhetorical features of the texts and the ideas of those texts. In this way, synthesis writing involves both with the grain and against the grain thinking. You begin with your analysis, which builds the platform from which you begin your own independent thinking based on that synthesis question. The synthesis extends the process of summary and response to more texts with the aim of bringing them into conversation with one another. And the synthesis shows how you have taken apart, made sense of, assessed, and recombined the ideas of those texts. So when writing a synthesis essay, you want to be sure to include the following features: some direct statement of your synthesis question that is problematic and significant, short summaries of the individual texts you will be synthesizing, a thesis that indicates your new perspective in light of the text and your own independent thought, and some analysis of relevant key points in the texts. Follow these steps and you'll be well on your way to a successful synthesis essay.